All right, it says we're live. I believe we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a little Thursday night edition of the daily broadcast coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios. Brought to you by the good people at Thacker Jewelry in Lubbock since 1979. Your love story may just begin there. And they've got really cool citizen watches, guys, so go check it out. Also, by the Reserve, it's a culinary tavern, 103rd and Quaker. The game is always on, even though it's not a sports bar. Fantastic food and a great brunch there at the Reserve. Tell Nick and Chef Willie we said hey. All right, well, let some folks get in. You guys know what to do. The early arrivals, you let us know the audio is good, the video is good. You give us thumbs, you give us hearts, you do whatever you do. I mean, that's kind of on you. That's up to you. But it is up to you to let us know that the audio is good and the video is good. And then we get on down the road and we find out what's on your mind tonight. We use the United Supermarkets text line. 806-772-0197. If you're watching on Twitter Live and you're watching on YouTube, that's how we'll see your comments tonight and every night. If you comment otherwise, we're not going to get it. Our friends on Facebook, we get to see you there with the little typing box area or whatever they call that thing. I'm going to try not to get all John Fetterman emotional on you today, but my allergies are just absolutely killing me. So my eyes are watering, can barely breathe. I'm a miracle of modern science and technology that I'm here tonight, but that's what I'm willing to do for you. On an either or Thursday where we talk about most disappointing tech coaches all time, where you find out one big thing you want to see from Texas Tech this weekend, and we celebrate Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports going after the WaPo idiot reporter. That's my promise to you. Allergies will not stop us. Yeah, I'm too dressed up to be Fetterman. I've got clothes on. All right. Let's get it going. Because as Damon says, the talking box is on. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans. All you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt. TheRaiderland.com. Start your day there. The morning hot link's fantastic today. Got a long-form interview with my friend Bill Krackenberger, the Crackman, and Billy Joe Tolliver that I bet you've never heard. Fun stories. And Roger Staubach in action first time. So that's kind of cool stuff I'll bring you there in the morning links. You got to check it out. A lot of fun stuff there. And we give you the question of the day. Like tomorrow, we'll ask you the most Texan thing you've done. So start the day at TheRaiderland.com as we hang out with you here in the Arctic Air Studios, locally owned and operated now for over a generation. I figured that out. By the way, Shane, American veteran. All right. That's all you need to know. Really. That and Call the Bear, callthebear.com. So tonight, Texas Tech in West Virginia. What are you looking for? We hope to be with you tomorrow, but it's high school football day. So my schedule will depend on a lot of different things. Maybe we have a visit with you tomorrow. Maybe we don't. So this could be the last chance we get to talk about the game. So I ask you tonight, one big thing. What do you want to see? One big thing out of the Red Raiders. And Doe's like, a win? Yeah, come on, don't be that guy. Most disappointing on coaches. Who was baseball coach from Oregon? Dan Spencer. Former Red Raider, Dan Spencer. On the original Larry Hayes team, 1986, 87, I can't remember which first year it was. Dan Spencer, highly thought of Oregon State assistant, and he comes to Texas Tech and just an absolute flop. The recruiting was horrible. Chris is watching. Who does Robes play? That would be the Tahoka Bulldogs. Eagles and Bulldogs tomorrow. So we can get on with them AI generators like the Gambling Gauchos are really good in doing that and create some sort of eagle and bulldog fight or something going on. Yeah, Dan Spencer. I was really kind of excited when he was hired. He was coming in at a time, obviously, that the program he'd been at had great success there in the mid-2000s. He knew Texas Tech. He knew the area that you really felt like this was going to be a hire that was going to work out. And I was disappointed that it didn't work out. And I like Coach Spencer. I like Dan. I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with him. That was a time frame where I wasn't doing any Texas Tech baseball play-by-play or color or anything. One of the stretches there, and I really didn't interact with him a whole ton a lot. In fact, I may have called more LCU games against Tech than Tech games. I think I did. I even called a series for Washington State against Tech during that time frame, but no Tech baseball. And it was a little mystifying that it didn't work, but it was a good example of a lot of times you think something's going to work and it doesn't work. So we're asking you today the either or question: who was more disappointing, Tommy Tuberville or Matt Wells as a Texas Tech coach. I ask you in the broad picture tonight, most disappointing coaches at Texas Tech. Give me one thing you want to see, one big thing you want to see out of Texas Tech, and we will talk about Dave Portnoy because we're a fan. Chris, I'd love to see more consistency. Seems like the gap between home play and road play has been way too vast. Yeah, that was going into the season was figure out how to win on the road. They got the win late last year at Iowa State, and then you thought, all right, that's a good sign. Go to Wyoming, 2-touchdown favorite. Wait, the offense went into hibernation. So, yeah, don't go into hibernation. Nose itching. Golly. Well, I want to see the ball out quick from Shuck. That'd be handy. Brad is watching. You guys watching on Facebook, we appreciate you. You guys watching on Twitter, we appreciate you. You guys watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, and use the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. On our Facebook page, you can see what Ben Roberts' pregame meal or training table meal from Market Street looks like. Really good, man. With some spicy shrimp, poblano chicken or something going on there, cilantro lime rice. I was digging it. Pretty cool. Hi there, Glenn. Wells was far more disappointing than Tuberville. Tuberville beat OU and Norman and made some bowl games. Yep. The hatred level, though, for Tuberville is way up here compared to Wells. The disappointment level, and that's why I chose the word disappointment. I went over a couple of different words. Words matter. My English teachers taught me that. My speech and debate coach reinforced it. Words matter, and disappointing is a big word. When we use disappointing in our life, with our children, with our friends, with our family, there may not be a word that stings more than disappointing. All-time disappointment coaches. Mark Adams as head coach, to me, disappointing, just shocking how quickly the program went down. The program didn't necessarily go down. He went down. The season went down. Let's not confuse season with program. Let's not confuse man with program. Program bigger than Mark Adams. I think you will see that fairly quickly with Coach McCaslin and everything. The program is on solid footing. The season last year was a disaster, a grease fire, a Crisco inferno. Burn, baby, burn. A lot of different things going on. You guys jam up that text line, 806-772-0197. Get your text messages in, courtesy United Supermarkets here as we hang out in the Arctic Air Studios. A comfortable 74. I checked right before we got started that it was 74 degrees here in the Arctic Air Studios. Joe Ely approves. Alan's watching tonight. Simultaneous sip. Michael enjoying the show, no doubt. But Tuberville wants to stop funding the Ukraine. Tuberville also finally allowing Red Raider General to become Joint Chiefs. Congratulations there. Is it already that time? David Collier, ladies and gentlemen, joins the eye. Everybody wish David Collier well. Everybody who's on right now say, hi, David. Hi, Mr. Collier. Come on out and show our football teams. It's a short drive to Toka right down the highway. Tuberville hasn't found a way to make money off Ukraine yet. Very good, Alan. I mean, he's no Clinton initiative. I had higher expectations for Tuberville. I just wanted Wells to stop the bleeding, says Chris. We ask you tonight. All-time Tech coach's biggest disappointments, any and all sports, anything and everything. The ones the disappointments. And then give us one big thing that you want to see out of Texas Tech. Come Saturday against West Virginia. We have entered this odd wait-and-see zone for Red Raider football, I think, right now. That after the Oregon game and then the Tarleton game was just like, okay, go get a win and beat some people bad, and you did it. All right, good. Billy Clyde was disappointing. Man, I barely remember that. So does Billy Gillespie. We're now in this kind of wait and see, because I guarantee you if Tech beats West Virginia, 6-point favorites, people will say, well, they should have beat them. And then if they beat Houston at home and Tech will be, whatever, 9-point favorite or whatever it ends up being, people are like, they should have beat them. And then they beat Baylor. Well, Baylor's no good. You should beat those people. Man, Tech could go all season long now every game up to Texas and be, well, hey, you should have won that game. That there's this wait and see. And one game I think really changes the tenor. The Wyoming game, the first game of the year, completely changed the tenor of the conversation. The loss to Oregon, I think most people had that priced in. I did. But now it's this wait and see. Either way, whether West Virginia wins or loses, couches will be burned. That will not disappoint. We'll see where that is. Both of those games. BYU should be a favorite, probably by about 2.5, 3.5, somewhere in through there. We'll see about Waco. Aranda has problems. I mean, not like Gundy problems, Neil Brown problems, but he got problems, and they're starting to unravel a little bit. I want to see higher confidence from our quarterback. Lead as a quarterback and take over. How has Shuck not led as a quarterback and taken over? Give me specific examples of how that has not happened. Biggest coaching fail, not having offensive line that followed the 2008 line. They were studs. The biggest coaching fail. Everything about Texas Tech football was targeted for 2008. Recruiting, the structure of the roster. For the most part, none of them expected coaches thought they'd be back in 2009. That they were all in. It was like the pro team, that structures everything, and they trade off the future and mortgage the future. A lot of that went on for that 08 season. Want to see the O-line dominate. We've yet to see the O-line dominate. That would be one big thing that would be good. Any truth to the whole team quitting rumors at Oklahoma State? I don't know. I saw that on social media last night, and I said that's not even in the top 10 most outlandish things I've seen. Why? Because you can do it now. Because a bunch of guys can get together and say, hell with this. We're going somewhere else. And they can. College players are beginning to realize they actually have more freedom right now for the time being until collective bargaining and unionization comes into play and they actually have contracts, that they have more freedom of movement than NFL players, Major League Baseball players, that they can go. They can do it. That you could get 30 of your closest friends at a program to say, screw this, we're gone. So it doesn't shock me. Let's see. He should be 56, I think. I think he's 56. Tyler gets the job done, but passes are a little unsure and not thrown quickly with authority. Okay, but that's not leadership. I think everything I've heard, everything I've read, everything I've been told, that he has good command of the team, respect, everything. I've not heard one person I trust say, yeah, he didn't have that team. So what you're talking about are actual physical mechanics of playing the position, not leadership. That's different. I caution always fans, try not to read too much into what you think you're seeing on a field. You don't know. People used to do that with Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman's not having fun. He doesn't like football. Just don't do that. Who's the contact at Tumbleweeds to see what's happening at Oklahoma State? Tumbleweeds. Taj and Tharp. That was a great 70s duo. I had several of their albums. Taj and Tharp, R&B duo, really good. Oh, man. Rick James signed them to their initial record deal back in 1977, the old Taj and Tharp, man. I saw them on American Bandstand a couple of times. They were on Soul Train with Lou Rawls. And now, Taj and Tharp. Yeah, it'd be handy if your leading runner every week from now on, it's not your quarterback. That'd be handy because your quarterback won't live through it. He needs to take care of the ball. Picks will happen, but he tends to make bad layup throws. Touch pass is not really his pass. Outside the numbers to sideline, the zip or the touch is not really his pass. Mesh cross and in through there, I like the way he throws that. Every quarterback makes bad reads, so I don't worry about that so much unless you're doing it over and over, then you end up on the bench. But one of the reasons why the coaches like him is because he does exactly what you say he needs to do. That Joey McGuire and Zach Kitley have him as a starter because he does what you're saying you want him to do. Whether you agree with that assessment or not. That's it. Tech runs it 40 times. Brooks gets half of them. Oklahoma State 2-1. People freaking out a bit with one bad loss. Now this is going back over the course of really 2 years. He don't want coach there. He don't want coach college football anymore. You know, he don't want to do it. Trying not to sneeze. Really don't want to sneeze. The one big thing you really want to see, yes, trust the coaching, trust the process. One big thing you want to see out of Tech, most disappointing Tech coaches all time. The either or question was, who was more disappointing to you, Tuberville or Wells as a coach? One thing I want to see, one big thing from the defense standpoint is more actually of what you've done the last 2 weeks. I thought the defense played well enough to beat Oregon. They held a very explosive Oregon attack down and gave you the opportunity to win. That you had to hand deliver some points to them offensively and set them up. I think I'd like to see the defense play with that same attitude they had last week, where they took it as a personal insult anytime that Tarleton was on their end of the field. I know they didn't get the shutout. That was a little bogus, but whatever. You know, it's so hard to shut somebody out. Pineapples. That was one of the things we would yell to keep people from sneezing. Well, we'll see if it works. Yeah, I'd like to see the defense get home, pressure the quarterback. I don't think you're going to have very many opportunities to do that Saturday. One big thing I want to see, a decently officiated game. Why do you want the impossible, Jared? To get to the quarterback, that implies that they're going to pass. If it's Marchiole, I've heard like 18 different pronunciations on the backup. So anyways, if it's Nico at quarterback, the backup, he came in 6 plays into the game, and they ran. And then they ran some more. Total game manager. If it's Green, he's a running quarterback. They're not going to throw it a whole lot. Neil Brown, no air raid, none of that mess. I mean, it is a ground attack. It's very physical, in-your-face ground attack offense. You're not going to have many opportunities to get a lot of sacks, to get home. You're going to have to stop the run. You're going to have to stop the run. You're going to have to stop the run. Okay, so let's make them one-dimensional then. Don't allow anything through the air and see if you can stop that. Yeah, Shallow Cross by Taj and Tharp was, you talk about laying down some 70s funk. I can still remember the intro to Shallow Cross. I want to see Tech beat West Virginia in football, both men's and women's basketball, and especially in baseball. Jared hates West Virginia. Never really fit into the league. They still don't fit into the league. I ain't got nothing against them. I've been up there several times. I've never seen the sunshine when I've been there, ever. And everything is gray concrete. Collier is with us, KMAC 28 sports director. I used to enjoy his work. We missed you at breakfast, by the way, David. You ever been up there, Collier? Have you ever made the West Virginia trip? I asked the man who has to type. That is not smooth. Good Lord, that's some rock gut. What did I pay for that? Most disappointing Texas Tech coaches of all time. Also, one big thing you want to see out of Tech football. They do have a monorail. What is it, Monongahela? I can't even remember which river it is. It's a big-ass river. And it bisects. You've got the river, and then you've got a highway that bisects the campus. And it's really in thirds. So they literally do have this. Chris is not kidding, people. They have a monorail like Disneyland. Instead of like the Tech bus system, they have a monorail that moves people around the campus. It's lovely. Everything's concrete and gray. Do they actually play anything in Morgantown? I always hear they have to play anywhere other than Morgantown. It's all in Morgantown. Beautiful Morgantown. The world's, I love Buffalo Wild Wings. but the hotel that we would typically stay at in basketball was walking distance to a Wild Wings, and it became kind of a running joke for me of, oh, you're out of what? You're out of wings, and this is pre-pandemic, people. No wings? Okay. All right. Fries? No fries. Oh, okay. It's a dystopian state from a young adult novel. Do you do drugs, Alan? Still waiting to find out if Collier's ever been to Morgantown. Hillary is with us. Hello, Hillary. One big thing you want to see from Tech, more of the same attitude from the defense. Control the game. Texas Tech controlled the game last week from start to finish. Control the game. Dictate to West Virginia. Yeah, great the whole time. See, you know what I'm talking about. Can't say in public. I guess Joe Biden was the manager at the Wild Wings. That's all right. Can I get a Diet Coke to go? No, we don't have any Diet Coke. Okay. All right. What do you have? We have some sauce, but you don't have any wings. No. Beautiful drive-in. The stadium smelled of stale beer the night before the game. When you came in, did you come in? Yeah, I guess you would have had to come in from Pittsburgh and drive down that way. We were always in the smaller planes, so we could fly directly into Morgantown. Jared, I hope Tech beats West Virginia so bad that the Hatfields and the McCoys in the feud just to make up the subs for the football team. Wow. Yeah, it's a long and winding drive. Mileage is not too far. It just takes a while to get there, from what I've told. I was told it's real similar to, and I can't remember when we went and played at Penn State, where we flew into, but you don't fly into Happy Valley. And it was just like we drove through a forest for like an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden the bus driver was like, all right, you're here, get out. Oh, so this is Penn State. Okay, nice. And that's exactly what it felt like. Offensively, more run game. If I could see one thing again, the run game highlighted. Every quarterback is better when they can use play action, and Shuck is definitely better, I think, when he can utilize play action. So, continue to establish the run game. And I guess these are two different things. I don't know. Maybe they play off each other. I'd like to see the wide receivers begin to look like they can get open, create some separation. The whole yak discussion and all that has been going on for about a week or two. And, it's cool to be able to say rack yak and everything else. But the way you get that is that you have separation when you catch the ball. Everybody thinks that after the catch. Okay, you get that yardage typically by being open and catching in movement in space, not by coming to a stop, breaking a tackle, and then going. That's what running backs do. I mean, we'll chart that this weekend. That's something we can do. Is how many catches will the wide receivers make in motion, in space, versus stopped? Probably more than I think. When you get down to it, it's almost always that way. You go back and you look at film. You think something played out one way. You go back and look at film and you go, yeah, it completely didn't play out that way. That what I had in my brain, what you had in your brain in the immediacy of the game, that you go back and you look at it and you go, yeah, that really didn't happen that way. But this did, and you see something else. That's why I don't say anything when coaches say I got to look at the film. I'm with them on that. Dave Portnoy, scorching, absolutely scorching. Washington Post reporter Emily Heil, and we need more of this. And he calls her up and records it. So Barstool Sports guy, he's put together this pizza fest. It's, a bunch of and if you don't know who Dave Portnoy is, Barstool Sports and the whole pizza deal, then none of this makes any sense to you. All you need to know is that the Washington Post was going to do a hit job on him because they don't like him, because he's a guy. He's, a dude. He's a guy. And they were trying to get a hold of all the sponsors. Say, he's really a racist and misogynist and all these things, and would you like to respond? So he calls up the reporterette and challenges her on it. And she comes across, one, dumber than a hoe handle, and two, like so many people in media who are just dumb. No offense, David. But we in the media, we're our own worst enemy because we got a lot of dumb people in the media. And they need to be called out more. We need more of Dave Portnoy types doing things like this to idiot people in the media, to call them out on it. It was absolutely going to be a hit piece. It was absolutely dirty the way she was doing it. And then she, is trying to backtrack and crawfish on everything. And, I'm just, trying to elicit a response. Okay, so you're lying. You're deliberately lying, trying to get a response. What do we call that? What do we call it? He was using tortious interference. I find it interesting. Yeah, she was making up stuff to try to get a response. It's a great video if you get a chance to see it. But there needs to be more of that. And media needs to call out media more. But I highly encourage all of you to go find the story, read it, see for yourself, and go, that's the Washington Post. Okay? If they do that with just a Barstool sports guy, how do you think their reporting is tinged in things that really matter? If that's common accepted practice to behave that way with just Dave Portnoy, and I say just Dave Portnoy, not in a demeaning way towards Dave. Hi, Dave. How do you think it goes up and down the food chain there at the Washington Post? And now let's take that over to the New York Times, right? And let's take it over to NBC News. That woman, Emily, she does that because it's accepted. That it's okay, that's what they do. Yes, they acted that way over a pizza festival. Imagine how they'd act over the border or Burisma. She actually used the word tactic to explain what she did. Yeah. So if that's what they do on a pizza festival, well, you get the idea. We need more Dave Portnoy calling stuff out like that. All right, you guys can get it on the text line. Few more minutes tonight. 806-772-0197. Brought to you by our good friends at United Supermarkets. Also, you can get on the typing box or whatever we call that thing. They're on Facebook and get into your thoughts. Coaches that disappointed you the most all-time, Texas Tech. We've got one big thing you'd like to see out of the Red Raiders. I can't promise you, but we can try tomorrow to be on at some point. And it literally may be during the noon hour. It could be 4:30. I don't know. It'll be when it is. Or it is when it'll be. It is when it'll be. It'll be when it is. It'll take place when it occurs. It will happen when it takes place. You get the idea. Bueno, our good friends from Farwell, Texas, they're the Godfather's Pizza out of Farwell, was in town today. Set up shop over at Hope Lutheran. Hi there, Hope Lutheran people. Good people over there. And I got basically the classic super duper supreme. I had 2 slices when I got home this afternoon, Michael, and I about passed out. They're that filling. So good. And then I had to play. How many of y'all do this? Now, I know Collier doesn't do this because he lives a highly organized lifestyle with he and his family. I had to play refrigerator Jenga. You know what refrigerator Jenga is? That's where you have to, when you're trying to get a pizza box into the refrigerator, but you've got to move all these different things around to try to figure out how to slide the giant box into one of the shelving areas. So you're like, all right, that thing of strawberries and grapes can go down here. Ooh, that bottle of ranch, I can move that down here. Wait, now I've got a problem down here. Oh, crap. The leftover, I can stack the leftovers here. Yeah, it took about 3 minutes, but refrigerator Jenga and got it in there, and now it'll be good cold. It was really good. Matt Wells, the biggest politician, leave it at that. He was so many different things, and none of which were what I thought I was getting. And someday, Kirby Hocutt may speak to that. And I think Kirby took it really personally that he whiffed on that. I know he did, because he traded a lot of capital on that hire. Hogan was disappointed, to say the least. All right. You guys have been pretty decent tonight. Not bad. Good conversation. I'll give it about a 7.5. Go check out. If you missed the hot links today, you got to go back and check it out. There's a great interview with Billy Joe Tolliver with Bill Krackomberger from last year that I just happened to stumble across because Crackman has got his podcast up and running again for the first time in a long time. I was like, oh, wow, I need to link to that. Then we've got some other cool video and different things that are there. Maybe even a David Collier tweet. I'm not sure. I try to find really compelling David Collier stuff and put it there every day. I do. You know, if you just take a picture of the sunrise every morning when you're up, Collier, use that. And Dane over at South Plains College, the sun's coming up too late now. By the time I need to get it out, I'm going to have to start using yesterday's sunrise to lead off the morning links. Check it out, though. It is also an ode and a tribute to Outkick.com screen caps. I've even emailed Joe Kinsey at Screen Cap and said, hey, I'm doing the West Texas version of this. All right, we good? We cool? Cool? We're cool. We're all cool. You guys are the best. Let's see. Who do we finish off with first? That'd be the Twitter and the YouTube people. I gotta say goodbye to them, you know. So it asks us end stream. Yeah. End stream. Okay. We're waiting.